Have you ever wanted to just step out of your everyday life and into a world of magic, monsters, and epic battles? Well, today, we're going to do just that. We're diving into the world of live-action role-playing, or LARP, by taking a look through the official rulebook for a game called Kingdoms of Gallidorn.
And you know, the people who wrote this, they're not just being clever. They really mean it. This is your literal passport to an adventure. It's an invitation to stop reading about heroes and to actually, finally, become one.
So what even is LARPing? If you're new to this whole thing, forget about sitting around a table rolling dice. No. This is about physically being your character. You swing the sword, you cast the spell, you negotiate the treaty. It's your own cleverness, your own skill that decides what happens next.
And this, right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the game. The people who run things, the event holders, they create the world, the quests, the monsters, but that's all just a backdrop. The real story, the thing that makes it all exciting, that comes from you, the player. Your choices are the engine that drives this entire world forward. Okay, so if you're going to be the hero of the story, the very first thing you need to do is, well, create one. So let's take a look at how you actually bring a character to life in the world of Gallidorn. And trust me, your choices go way beyond the standard fantasy stuff. Sure, you've got your elves and dwarves, but you could also be a noble catman, a fierce wolfen, or even someone from the mysterious dragon kin. This variety just shows you how deep and creative this world really gets.
And the best part, the whole process is actually super straightforward. First, you pick your class, like a fighter or a mage. Then you pick your race from that list we just saw. After that, you give them a history. And finally, you create the look with your costume and props. It's a really clear path from just an idea to a full-fledged character ready to go.
But here's a little inside tip. That history you write isn't just for you. A really good backstory, one that's full of fears and secrets, that's gold for the game runners. It gives them hooks to pull your character specifically into the main plot. Maybe your long-lost brother suddenly shows up, or that ancient artifact you've been looking for appears out of nowhere.
Of course, a fantasy world wouldn't be a fantasy world without a little bit of action, right? So let's get into the combat system, which is built from the ground up to be both incredibly safe and really, really exciting.
This right here is the absolute foundation of every single fight in the game. It's not about how hard you can swing, it is all based on an honor system. If a foam weapon makes contact, any contact, you are honor-bound to act like it was a real hit. This is what keeps everybody safe and keeps the focus on skill, not just brute force.
And to keep those big battles organized, there are really clear rules for a whole arsenal of weapons. We're talking everything from small daggers all the way up to massive two-handed swords and even bows and crossbows. Every weapon has rules about its size and how you use it, which makes sure the playing field is level and, most importantly, safe for everyone.
This is, and I'm not kidding, literally rule number 1 in the book. They repeat it everywhere, because before the fun, before the honor, before any of the glory, comes safety. It is the absolute, non-negotiable top priority for every single person there.
And this is the ultimate safety tool. If anyone, a player, a staff member, anyone, yells the word hold, everything stops. I mean, instantly. It's the universal signal that a real-world problem has come up. Maybe someone's actually hurt or there's some kind of danger. The game does not start again until the situation is handled and you hear an all clear. So, when you actually do get hit, what happens? Well, it depends on where you get hit. If you take a hit to an arm or a leg, that's a limb shot. You can't use that limb anymore. But a kill shot to your torso or head means your character is mortally wounded. And in both cases, you have to call out what happened so everyone on the battlefield knows. But hey, battles aren't just won with swords and shields. Magic plays a huge role in the Kingdoms of Gallidorn, and it adds this incredible layer of strategy and, honestly, pure spectacle to the whole thing. So, the magical items you can find fall into 2 main types. You've got plot items, which are temporary and tied to a very specific story, but then you have backed items, and these are a huge deal. They're permanent. They get added to a master list, and they work at any game, anywhere. That means a magic sword you find in one adventure could become a legend across the entire game system. The magic itself is just massive, and it's organized into these 4 great schools. You've got the raw power of the elemental school, controlling things like fire and earth. Then there's the Exodus school, which is all about protection and light. You could dabble in the dark arts with the Eldritch school, or you could master ancient symbols with the Genesis school. So much to choose from.
And these spells aren't just ideas. They have real dramatic effects. Let's just take a classic, Fireball. The rules are so direct. You literally throw a prop, and if it hits someone anywhere, their character is immediately out of the fight unless they have some kind of special magical protection. It's a simple rule for a really powerful effect.
You know, one of the most fascinating things about this game is that your journey doesn't have to stop with just playing a character. There's actually a clear path you can follow to become one of the people who shapes the world itself.
See, everyone starts out as a player, but once you get some experience, you can volunteer to be an NPC, or non-player character. You know, playing the monsters and villains for other people. From there, you can train up to be a marshal, who is basically a referee. And at the very top, you have the event holders, the storytellers, the game masters who create these adventures for everyone.
And to make sure that whole honor system we talked about actually works, there's a really structured process for when things go wrong. If someone breaks the rules or they're acting unsafe, they get 2 verbal warnings. If it keeps happening, they get a written warning. And the final step, RFG, means they're actually removed from the game. It's a clear, escalating system that's there to protect everybody.
In the end, this is really the entire social contract of the game, all boiled down. It's all built on mutual respect. If you play with honor, people will be honorable back to you. The rules apply to everyone, from the brand new player to the person running the entire show. It's a system that's just designed to be fair.
So, after looking at all these rules for creating heroes, for fighting battles, and for weaving magic, it all comes back to that one central idea: player choice. This isn't just a game, it's an empty stage, a story that is just waiting for someone to write it. So the only real question left is, who will you be?